You will speak only when I allow you to speak. Until then, remain silent." Judge Oliver Grant slammed his gavel onto the bench. The sharp crack echoed across the silent courtroom like a gunshot. "Say one more word," he growled, "and I'll have you locked in a holding cell for contempt of court. Do you understand?" Vanessa King met his glare without the slightest hint of fear. She didn't flinch. She didn't lower her eyes. Instead, she calmly adjusted the collar of her plain beige trench coat before answering in a quiet, steady voice. "I understand perfectly, Your Honor." She paused. "In fact, I understand far more than you realize." Outside, a cold morning rain drenched the streets of Manhattan, tapping endlessly against the sidewalks of Foley Square. For most New Yorkers, it was nothing more than another gray Tuesday. For Vanessa King, it was the beginning of an experiment. At 48 years old, Vanessa had spent decades fighting her way to the top of the legal profession. She had worked twice as hard as everyone around her, overcoming barriers that had stopped countless others. Only 3 weeks earlier, she had made history by becoming the first black woman ever elected president of the New York State Bar Association. But today, none of that mattered. Today she wasn't one of the most powerful attorneys in the state. She wasn't the president of anything. She was simply another ordinary citizen standing before the court over a minor traffic ticket. That was exactly how she wanted it. Standing in front of her bedroom mirror that morning, Vanessa deliberately stripped away every symbol of authority. The perfectly tailored Armani suits stayed in the closet. The designer handbag. The pearl necklace. The expensive heels. Everything that silently announced wealth, influence, and power was left behind. Instead, she dressed like someone no one would notice. An oversized gray sweater. Well-worn blue jeans. Scuffed loafers. She tied her hair into a simple bun without makeup or jewelry. Looking at her reflection, she smiled. She had become invisible. And invisibility was the entire point. The traffic citation itself was insignificant. A rookie police officer had accused her of making an illegal U-turn on an empty street late one evening. Her assistants had immediately offered to make a few phone calls. The ticket would disappear before it ever reached court. That was how the system worked for people with influence. But Vanessa refused. As the new leader of the state's legal profession, she had promised to investigate the unfair treatment ordinary citizens experienced inside municipal courts, the place where thousands of everyday people encountered the justice system for the very first time. She didn't want reports. She didn't want statistics. She wanted the truth. She wanted to experience the system exactly as everyone else did. Earlier that morning, her chief of staff, David, had tried to change her mind. "Are you certain about this?" he asked over the phone. "Judge Oliver Grant has a terrible reputation. He's known for humiliating defendants and handing out the harshest penalties possible." Vanessa answered without hesitation. "That's precisely why I'm going. I need to see what ordinary people see. I need to feel what they feel." Leaving her luxury apartment behind, she ignored the waiting company car. Instead, she walked to the subway station and boarded a crowded downtown train. Around her stood exhausted office workers, construction laborists, nurses finishing overnight shifts, and parents trying to get through another difficult morning. These were the people the justice system was supposed to protect. Yet, too often, they were the ones most afraid of it. When Vanessa arrived at the old municipal courthouse, the atmosphere struck her immediately. Metal detectors buzzed non-stop. Security guards barked impatient orders. The air smelled of stale coffee and nervous sweat. Everything about the building seemed designed to remind visitors that they were powerless. She quietly took a seat in Courtroom 3B. The wooden benches were hard and uncomfortable. Fluorescent lights flickered overhead. The fake oak walls gave the room a cheap, lifeless appearance. She folded her hands in her lap and waited. Inside this courtroom, she wasn't the president of the New York State Bar Association. She wasn't one of the country's most respected attorneys. She was simply another woman wearing an old sweater. Just another name on the docket. And within minutes, she would come face to face with the man who ruled this courtroom like it was his personal kingdom.